There we go. Good morning. Welcome. Hi, Colleen.
Hello.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, everybody.
Both wearing matching pink today. I think you're pink. That's pink, right, Colleen? It's not red.
Yes, mine's a little not quite as bright as Danny's, but
Yeah. And I didn't get the memo, although I don't own pink, so
no.
I wouldn't have been able to wear it even if I wanted to. I'm in my standard uniform of black or dark blue. It is black today. Shocker. Well, so we are, of course, excited to be here on our monthly live Q&A, where we take questions from the audience, but we also take questions from emails and we take questions from direct messages on social. So if you have any questions about your Reiki path, your spiritual questions, Reiki anything, just shoot us an email or a DM, and we like to answer them here. This is a good opportunity for that, for I think just our community to come together and talk about these topics because we don't always get to, depending on our different situations. So it's one of the things that we really love doing. And it's where this podcast started all those years ago, back when it was a monthly teleconference Q&A call.
Reiki chat,
Reiki chat. Yeah.
monthly Q&A teleconference, global teleconference call.
Yeah. I have a cute story. I was thinking about that. I'm thinking about that, Colleen. I have a cute story. Luna she has a homework project that is, she needed to interview somebody from a different country to ask, because her school, it's like, I know you know this, but for anybody that doesn't, they have like a second language, which is Mandarin. And so it's an IB school that has the Mandarin component. And so part of her homework this time was like asking from a different country, somebody from a different country, like how their school works. Do they learn other languages in school and things like that? And so I'm like, well, I can help you out with that. She's like, I don't know anybody. I'm like, well, I can help you out with that. And so I was like, okay, who do you want to? I'll just email them, right? Who do you want to email? I have Brazil, the UK, Japan, Canada. And I just kind of kept listing countries of people that I felt comfortable emailing them to help her with her homework project. So I just thought that is so cool. Like that we just have this global community with each other from all of these different countries that I feel comfortable enough to email somebody to ask her or ask them to help with my homework or her homework project. That not everybody I'd feel comfortable emailing, but I feel like if somebody emailed me with that question or that email, I'd be like, of course, like that's so exciting. I'd love to do that. And it just made me really, I was talking to her about that last night and just really made me like pause and reflect on how much this allows the opportunity to connect in with so many different people from so many different countries. And it was kind of really, and I know we say that and I know we realize that, but when you really like, and when I was listing it out to her, I was like, holy cow, like, look at that. Like India, there's places we have community in Africa, Australia. I
China,
mean, China. Yeah. I could have kept, I labeled them. I went on, I
Australia,
don't
New
need to go on all of
Zealand,
them, but
Japan.
because
Yeah.
you all get the point, but it just, and it's not just like, us, it's everybody here in this community and the connections that we make through these like modalities, these formats, and not just us, obviously everybody all over the world that's doing this. And she chose Sue Machado from Brazil.
Oh,
So
nice.
she was like, I want Brazil. How about Brazil? So, and Sue already got back. It was really sweet. So thank you, Sue, if you're ever listening to this. Anyway, I really just appreciated the looking at that from like a really kind of backed up lens. So.
I have so many thoughts about that.
I know you do. Kelly put in the chat, it takes a global village of the kind ones.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
I love that. So anyway, that's my cute story. So I think for the most part, we'll just kind of leave it at that. We have classes coming up in February. Got kind of gone through our human Reiki. At the end of February, we have Animal Reiki 1 and 2 and Animal Reiki Master. And then just real quick, all of our classes are for basically the year. There's one in December, I still have to add, are now up on our website. So if you're interested in taking Reiki classes, go take a look at our website. But I do just want to add in that Colleen is co-teaching with William Rand in Hana, Hawaii. You're teaching, it's Karuna, right?
Yes, Corona Reiki.
Teaching
Mhm.
Karuna Reiki.
It's a
And
7 day.
yeah, it's a
What?
7 day immersive. So that's at the end of March, mid-March, mid to end of March. Yeah.
Well, also the Omega Animal Reiki in person in Rhinebeck, New York is finally up on the eomega.org website. So any of you that have been waiting for that, I taught there last year at the Omega Institute. It's in Rhinebeck, New York. It was so great. It was such a good class, and the land is beautiful, and our engagement with the animals and nature was just, it was exceptional. So anyway, you can always go to our website too, but eomega.org is where you actually
Our
register.
website will take you to the place on Omega.
Yeah, so that's all up.
All right. Well, I think what we'll go ahead and do, as we always do in this format, is start with an invocation. So, Colleen, you'll be leading us in that today.
Okay.
Um, and then we'll go into our questions and conversations.
Hmm. I probably need to ask. I can feel it. It could be very deep,
Okay.
or I can also keep it shorter.
Mm, I'm sure everybody here is going to vote for deep. Kelly. Kelly's like,
Are we getting the
everybody's
thumbs up? Yeah, the videos are coming on. Yes,
well,
deep.
I thought, I'm like, oh, I think you've been in sessions all morning. So when you come off of that energy, it helps to go deep. So
Okay. All
yeah,
right. Well, I
do
could
what comes
hear
through.
it, so I was like, okay. And it's always channeled, so I just never know.
So it could be long too, is what she's also
That's what I'm
saying.
trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's deep, it could be long.
Okay.
So any of you, caveat, this also means that if you are in a position not to go into that deep, relaxed Reiki zone state that we can get into, listen to it later. Sometimes, I know for myself, I can listen to a lot of things while I'm busy and let it wash over me. So you could do that too, but you really need to assess that because it can go deeper than you expect. And we know what Reiki energy is doing. And, honestly, right now, the energy in the world, astrologically, the, ending of the year of the snake, beginning of the fire horse, everything is big, and people are experiencing a lot of changes with these planetary shifts that are once in many centuries that are happening all at once right now. So, um, yeah, there, I just saw a comment of it's helpful to listen, helpful during work to re-listen later instead. So,
Well, to listen during work, then re-listen later to go deep.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Say that again.
Allowing it to wash over you while you're doing other things like at work or something like that, but then to re-listen later to have the opportunity to go deep.
Mhm. Since this is a Q&A, and before I go there, I think I will also mention about the Reiki journeys. And when we say they're going to go deep, one of the aspects of these, or two of the aspects of these journeys, always includes some type of healing, what you are going to let go of, what needs to release from you. We use Reiki energy for all of it to do this work. And then also the empowerment you are inviting to come into your life. And so, that's true of Reiki sessions to begin with. So, Reiki sessions, when you're giving Reiki, and Reiki does this automatically, it doesn't need our direction. When we are channeling Reiki journeys like this, it's because we are observing how Reiki is doing the work. We also do have a particular kind of way that we're doing this, where we are moving our consciousness into a higher level of consciousness while we're in the journey to receive all of this. So it actually elevates you into the next vibrations. And so we have specific tools that we use to do that. We have the Reiki energy is first, and then the tool that we are using is the Reiki journey. And when we journey, we are lifting our consciousness to a spiritual location that is an enlightened realm that we call the third heaven. You may find you go where you go. Like, you don't have to go where this is taking you. It can take you completely into your own place. So even though we may imagine it in a particular way, for you, what the energy is doing is taking you to what is true about that for you. What is that higher level of consciousness for you and how you define it. So you may find you go different places than where we guide in these journeys. Also, just know that there may be some times that I'm not speaking so that you can listen for yourself. They won't be in an invocation like this. They're not as long as they are in our distance Reiki share, where they're actually a journey and people are doing some automatic writing to kind of, be in the space if they want. They don't have to. So anyway, just having said that, that's what we mean by it can go deep, and the tools that we are using for that. So we talk about it all the time. All right, so here we go. But I wanted to give that explanation. All right. I'm going to turn off my video. And we're going to go ahead and start the invocation now. If you are able, close your eyes, take some deep breaths, get comfortable, and place your hands comfortably on your body as you receive self Reiki. And Reiki also from this invocation. Breathe deeply, open your heart and receive. The light of Reiki fills your breath, flows into your body, and reveals the light of Reiki within you. Your light force and your life force, your vitality and your vibrancy, the essence of you is revealed to you. Breathe deeply now as you breathe in the light and the power of love by every name it's called. And it fills your breath with the power of love and wakes up the power of love within you. Breathe deeply now. Open your heart and receive. As you breathe in the light and the power of the divine mind, your higher consciousness and higher thought wakes up. Your authentic intuition, imagination, your instincts are all awake. Your inner guidance, inner awareness, your inner truth, and your inner authority all wake up. And you breathe in the light of the divine mind, and the divine mind fills your breath from the divine mind of creation all the way through your divine mind, your head mind, heart mind, gut mind, earth mind, all aligned with your consciousness. And so you breathe deeply now and simply allow that to flow through you in a beautiful light, awakening it for you, releasing the blocks to it for you, allowing it to just be simple in this great time of complexity, what the spirits call the great shift. So you align with your consciousness to be present within yourself, to be able to hear yourself. And breathe deeply now as you breathe in the light and the power of the divine heart. And the divine heart fills your breath in the moment when the power of love became the light became conscious, and you became conscious in the divine heart. That spark of creation when you became self-aware, your spirit existing now. And the divine heart is your God spark, and it's right here flowing through you now, awake and present, shining in your heart light in front of you and behind you and on each side. Your heart light shines above you, below you, within you. And as you breathe in, you begin to let go of some of those ways and worries of the world that are feeling so heavy. As your heart light shines for you, and you remember it's right here, in all your glory, your beauty, your brilliance, your wholeness. And the light of the earth rises through you. When you listen, you can hear the heartbeat of the earth beating in the same rhythm as your own heart. And when you breathe in the light of creation. And it flows in on your breath and awakens your light within you. The light of the earth and the light of the heavens is right here within you. When you listen, you can hear the heartbeat of creation and the heartbeat of the earth beating in the same rhythm as your own heart. And your whole body aligns with your divine mind, the pure love that you are, and the rhythm and the cycle of your life in this moment. As you remember now that your body is made of the earth to give your spirit life and breath, from the infinite realms of your soul's journey, the existence of your soul, the experiences of your soul, you remember that in truth you are here right now in your life. This is your soul's experience today. And the light of the earth shines through you and awakens your human spirit and your human nature in the truth of you as your spirit ignites within you. And the beautiful qualities of your human spirit and your human nature are awake. Gratitude and kindness, love and joy and truth and beauty, all awaken within you. And you remember the gifts that you are and the gifts of your soul and your spirit as they wake up in this moment for you. Divine compassion fills your breath, flowing into your body, awakening divine compassion within you. And the tree of life flows through you in great balance of it all. Your roots grow deeply into the earth around you, and your branches reach to the heavens. Balanced, stable, receiving, giving, creating. And you receive the wisdom of the earth and the wisdom of the heavens. And right here in the center of you is your wisdom. As the light of the earth and the light of the heavens is one light within you, one spirit. Your spirit in this breath, in this moment, at this time in your soul's journey. And your perceptions expand now. The divine animal kingdom is here with the tree of life and the spirit of the earth. The angels and the archangels are here, the ascended masters, our sisters and brothers in light and the light, the enlightened ones. And your beloved and sacred ones, the enlightened ones of your heart, are here with you, your spiritual teams and guides. Your biofields are present. Universal consciousness is present. And you begin to remember now, in the journey of your soul, in this lifetime right now, you are here in your life and you belong here. The earth can hear your footsteps and your heartbeat, beating in the same rhythm as her own. And you are greeted by the earth and loved by the earth. And it begins to awaken within your heart as you remember. And the divine animal kingdom is here in a circle for you and invite you to join the circle. It's the circle of life. And here in this circle of life with the divine animal kingdom, and you realize they're here in all their beauty. Your light is beautiful like theirs. Your heart is beautiful like theirs. And so the divine animal kingdom invites you to step into the center of the circle. And all around them is the circle of the enlightened ones and your beautiful beings of the light. It's a great gathering here for you as they are aware that you come here in your human spirit, your human beingness, your human nature. And so they shine their light on you, and the light of Reiki fills your breath, and you begin to notice those ways and worries of the world start to leave as the blessings of these beautiful ones shine on your light, revealing it. And the cords and connectors to all that is being released from you today are dissolving in the light through the power of love. The power of love releasing the injuries that you have sustained in this lifetime or other lifetimes, ancestral histories. That as you are in this significant moment of the great shift on the earth and in humanity, on a personal level, what is true for you. There are completions occurring for you. Perhaps they are known to you now, and perhaps you will know them later in reflection. For today, you allow this compassion and this love and these beautiful beings in the light of Reiki to just shine on you. And as the light shines on you, it flows into your breath and releases any of those injuries, old beliefs that get in the way of these new beginnings as the completions complete and the new beginnings begin. In the moment of the shift, what are you letting go of? What are you taking with you? And where are you going? Where's your path ahead of you? And so you receive the blessings from the divine animal kingdom like waves of light and color and beauty, reminding you of the truth of your human spirit, the great love that you are. The truth of you is kindness and love. Sometimes being human, that's not your experience or feeling, and you give yourself grace. And so all these beautiful beings are here because they know being human on earth, it's a thing. And so you breathe in this light and allow it to just hold you stable as the light of the earth is strong and stable underneath you. Your roots grow deeply around you. Your branches reach to the heavens. And you receive the balance and the wisdom from above, below, and within for you right now. Perhaps you see clearly your path ahead. Perhaps you're not clear. Perhaps your path ahead is really very determined by specific circumstances of your life in this moment. So you breathe in and simply receive the blessings as it shines in your heart. And you go back to the circle of life with the divine animal kingdom. And you remember you belong here. Your life matters. The earth can hear you. Creation hears you. In the truth of the love that you are. And in this moment, in the journey of your soul, in the journey of your life right now, that you are aligned with your divine mind. You are aligned with the rhythm of the earth, with the rhythm of these planets and the solar system and the higher frequencies of them, and the changes of the earth. And you receive the blessings that help you through it all, awakening within you. And so you bring your attention back to now. As you receive the light and the power of love, and the power of love within you wakes up and is revealed to you. And you breathe deeply and you receive the light and the power of the divine mind, and your divine mind is awake. And you receive the light of the divine heart, and your heart light shines for you to see. And you receive the light of the earth and the light of the heavens as your spirit ignites within you. As you open your heart and you receive divine compassion and the wisdom and the balance and the nourishment and stability of the tree of life. As you bring your awareness to this moment right now, and you bring your awareness to this day today, into this moment, your breath, all around you is the light of Reiki, like a beautiful filter, allowing you to be in your whole consciousness, even while the world around you is in a different frequency. So you have clarity of mind, clarity of action, clarity of purpose in this moment. Sometimes that is the highest perspective of your path ahead from the vision of an eagle. Sometimes it is the perspective of mouse vision, seeing what is immediate in front of you, and your own inner vision in all three. So you just take this moment to notice your perspective of this moment in the great shift. Stable and strong. Say thank you to you for listening, to you, to hear you, and to open your heart and receive as the power and love of creation flows through you, for you. We say thank you to each other. The circle's always divinely ordered. All who are here live and those who listen later, as we do join together in a global community for peace, for love, for well-being, for all the people, the animals, the earth itself. We say thank you to the beautiful beings of the light that are always here for us and the wisdom they share and the wisdom we receive and remember through the light of Reiki and the frequencies of the heavens. We lift our coherence to them. Thank you. We say thank you to the teachers who came before us to bring us these ways. Since ancient times, the teachers who came before have shared their wisdom all the way to us. And we ignite the wisdom within us. Your inner knowing is awake. Your inner truth awake. Thank you. As we say thank you to the descendants. Thank you. And so it is. Okay, so I'm going to come back pretty rapidly because this is one recording, and too much silence on the podcast can make people think they have lost us. So, a lot of times when we go deep like that, it was actually more, kind of felt like a lot more blessing energy and feeling good energy than deep letting go energy. At least for me, it felt like it was flowing through. You know what? I'm going to share again because I've been sharing this, and I'm going to say it again because I think it has made such a difference for me in this exact thing that I'm talking about, where in this shift, it helped me shift into like really just feeling better emotionally, spiritually. And that was the what Paul Stamets said, the mycologist, he's world's expert mycologist, that humanity exists today because of random acts of kindness, and that random acts of kindness are our greatest quality. And when he said that, it just washed over me, and that meaning of washing over. And because, one of the 5 Reiki ideals is just for today, be kind. And when I started working with kindness and what that meant, I had the definition in the word of, being kind, acting kind, but I really had to listen for a deeper meaning of it because it's one of the life force energies that we can actually receive with Reiki. And, again, we identify that because we know there is kindness and an absence of kindness in this earth of duality. And Reiki definitely does bring our attention to kindness. And so that is what happened for me with when I heard that. It was on Mayim Bialik's podcast with Paul Stamets. And when he said that, and I was actually crocheting. And when I'm crocheting, I'm always activating Reiki, and it's, going into the knitting and watching. This was a YouTube, and it just washed over me. And all of the sudden, I started just noticing and remembering random acts of kindness. And it shifted things for me. And that is not bypassing, that is allowing that energy to come in, bring my perspective and that perspective into that consciousness for my daily choices and actions. So that I feel like that is, for me, has been a really powerful awareness of truly when you focus your attention on the random acts of kindness, they're everywhere. And so it's beneficial in this. I loved in that they kept calling it in the invocation, the great shift. And I had not, that was definitely channeled like, oh, the great shift. That is such a good term for it, of what we're going through right now. And so, again, what we can do in the middle of it is to stay conscious. And for us, or for you, all of you listening, we're using Reiki to help us do that, to navigate through the shift. What is that on a personal level? And then how does our personal level affect our collective level? And that's what I think we do here. I think we engage with it. Robin was talking earlier about global community, and as we are at the infancy of these possibilities and opportunities to connect with one another through technology at this level, we have an opportunity to contribute, even again, random acts of kindness in these ways that show up. And we have an opportunity to add these intentions of co-creation into these fields of global communication. it's new at a level that, hasn't really been experienced. I think back to, I remember, I mean, all the different international travel that I've done, I can look at, but the one that was really noticeable in the change was for me 2016 when I was in Japan and, still needing to navigate through how to stay connected back home to now anywhere I am internationally, my phone just works and I can call. And it was notable to me when I went back to Japan first in, that was 2022, 2023, went back after the pandemic. And I was in Kyoto, and Robin's daughter, Luna, I think she would have been 6 at the time. And anyway, the very first thing I had to do was go to the Pokemon store. And I was able to FaceTime with her in the Pokemon store in Kyoto, Japan. And so that in that moment, it was like, oh, and of course, we started our distance Reiki share in 2020 and contributing to our community there was always our intention to help all of us stay in community. So, anyway, I think I'm finished with all that topic. So, Robin or Danny or whatever you want to do next.
Perfect. I love it. We'll go ahead and start with some questions. Kelly, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. One second. There you go. Now you'll find the unmute.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
I don't know if I can function after that. Okay. Um, I just want to thank you. I'll start off with that. So during this Lotus times, I feel like the chakra system is inverted for me. The holographic field on me is the root chakra goes to the head now. And like, um, I don't know. Does anybody else kind of invert the chakra system in your own body? Because in terms of learning Reiki and the chakras, I've always kind of had that they are balanced, say, from the solar plexus to the throat, or from the sacral. I mean, the sacral to the throat, and it's hard to make sense. That they were symbiotic, the as above and below. Um, and I just feel like it's just kind of the great shift is that it might be inverted, or you might need times of it having it be inverted. And so my question, I guess, would be: is does anybody do do you do this? Is this real? It just is a strange thing. Even like if you have sometimes I have like a chakra flag and I'll present it upside down versus right side up. And in the holographic field of who we are, we really don't have that identity of up and down, right? So I don't know. I use that magic. So there's that, and then I have something afterward. Another question, if that's okay.
Yeah. I would just go with your guidance, first of all, Kelly, because especially, we've known you quite a while now, and your experiences and your spiritual exploration and your spiritual guidance is so beautiful and amazing. So definitely that's the first thing I would say. I don't know if I would say that I've experienced them like upside down, except for that I don't experience them in any sort of hierarchical, that
Mm-hmm.
the root is as
Right,
equal to the
right.
crown.
Because
um
you train for it.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Same.
yeah, I agree, like in that multidimensional aspect of the self. um I would say I would have to like agree with that, even though our words might be different, or our actual experiences might be different of it. um with it. So that's what I would say. I haven't personally like seen it that way, but I do really experience them in a fully symbiotic relationship with
Right.
each other and with the whole being, the whole body, the mind, body, spirit, that embodiment of all of it, but then also the human and the divine, so not just the divine and the human, but the human in the divine. And that unification consciousness that I know you've heard us talk about, and not just us, lots of people talk about that. So that would be my thought, my kind of perspective on it, and just go with your inner knowing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I feel you. Probably put it into better words than I could have.
I love the words you put it in.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's perfect.
Also,
Colleen, before we move on, did you want to add to that at all, or Danny? No. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really interesting perspective, and um, I agree that they're not hierarchical. So
right.
even though we think of them in particular parts of our body. Now, I will say there was one point for Robin where it was inverted, that it actually was causing a health or contributing to some health issues. But I think that's different than what you're talking about. I think you're talking about like, an experience of it, if I'm hearing you correctly, an experience of your chakras having those abilities to invert, where for her it was actually a health issue,
Right.
that then was also, to get a little bit deeper, her thing to tell, but um, also that the land she was in had a downward pull, not
Right.
in a bad way, but it's just the nature of the land where she is. So then we did some adjustments with it. So yeah, just an
Yeah.
interesting discussion around it.
I
Yeah.
like that. It's the polarities of the chakras.
Yes. Yeah.
When you have the upper half and the lower half, but sometimes to find that balance or alignment, they might not be the same. They might not be that. But the Earth star and the Soul star stay the same.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting,
Okay.
Kelly. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate your insight. Also, I had an experience with a client, and it was rather she threw up all over the table. So she had an expulsion, and to me, I was like, oh no. And she's going through treatment, so I assumed that it was through a medication issue. And I learned when she got home that she also expelled this. She called it a liver fluke from her system, which is like a big glob of mucus, and a few of her conditions healed once that came out, and she kind of had this medical breakthrough. And that when I asked her about throwing up, she said she had never felt that before, and she had felt like the heat coming through the center of her body, and it just happened. And I was just wondering if, I mean, that's just quite extreme for Reiki to do that. So I was just, does that ever happen to you? Or anything? Have you heard of this? I mean, it was just a big wow.
I've had big wows.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's, even though it's uncomfortable, you're purging what needs to be let go of so that the healing can occur.
Hmm.
Well, I learned to keep a bucket near the table.
I'll
I
say
mean,
that was my
Like,
first
oh,
thought was, oh no. I mean, I'm really happy for her, but I
yeah,
think that those can show up in so many different ways. And I would say that, most sessions are obviously more subtle than that, but
yeah,
I've definitely had some pretty big responses. I would also say that I have had people report after Reiki classes that they may have purges, that may seem as if it's generated by, did they eat something wrong, or did they catch the flu or something like that? And it's so coincidental that,
Mhm.
you just know there's some purging going on. And like Robin said, even though it's uncomfortable, it's all like, well, thanks, I
Plus,
think.
it was messy
Thank
too.
you, I think.
Messy having to clean that up, especially right now with everything going around.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some big crud going around.
exactly.
But
But somebody
wow,
in
that is extraordinary, Kelly. I'm so happy for
Oh,
her.
thank you. Me
How
too.
beautiful. What a miracle.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
I hope it carries on. And I felt like during most sessions we're always trying to release and get rid of those toxins and the ailments and the everything. And then for this session, after she told me this story, I was like, well, what are you going to bring in now that you're kind of raw and empty and so I brought in this like crystal coating of everything. So to kind of protect her like for as a band-aid so she could bring in all that new energy to help her heal.
Nice.
That's
Since
amazing.
we always talk about receiving. And
Yeah.
that's kind of been on my mind because I have a hard time. um yeah. So I think that's kind of it, except like what kind of responsibility do we have as Reiki practitioners that after we deliver Reiki, the person has to leave the premises and drive? Because sometimes they're a little altered and it gets nerve wracking in a way. I don't want them to get hurt, but like to have them have water and take their time, people don't always do that.
Another thing you can do is have a variety of snacks for
Mm-hmm.
them to eat, um, depending on their food allergies,
Yeah, I provide them with something when they're done to refuel.
Yeah, something that before they drive. It is something that, we watch for to the degree we can. The word responsibility is, of course, choice in their choice. Um, so I don't know the responsibility aspect of it, but I think if it looks as if it's impaired driving, then we would speak up.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I wouldn't know.
yeah, right, yeah.
So, all right.
I think giving some time, letting them also the awareness, like, saying, hey, heads up,
Mm-hmm.
maybe sit in your car for a minute,
Yeah.
like give yourself some time, some water, be aware that you can be altered driving and that can be something that you really, need to be pay attention to. Um, things like that is that are I think the awareness can really help, especially if they're relatively new,
Right.
to either Reiki or other spaces that the
Mm-hmm.
alteredness can happen and that it can certainly be be a part of it.
Yeah.
So and I think well, I had something else, but I went
I
right.
think that I should just send Reiki in advance to their car.
There you go. That too. Good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you, Robin, Colleen, Danny.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kelly.
so much. You bring so
Um,
much inner light to my journey.
You too, Kelly. We love
So
that you're
thank you.
you're here with us. I'm going to share a couple of comments that people said. One said DWR, driving while Reiki'd. And then the other one is Anthony said, I ask, are you grounded? If they say no, I will go to the client's feet and ground them. That's a great piece of
Great
advice.
idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And somebody else said that did I say this, that they had the experience of a client vomiting too? Did I say that out loud? Okay. I read it and I wasn't sure if I added into the conversation. So
I haven't
I,
had that one, but I've had some pretty big.
I've definitely felt unwell during
Yeah.
Reiki sessions from time to time. And I think at this point, like I just having so much of the awareness of how much that can happen that it's like, oh gosh, I'm not feeling well. This is uncomfortable, but I'm more comfortable in the awareness of like, it's going to pass. I know what this is. And if you may not be, although Kelly, in that example, somebody is going through some pretty, intense treatment, some pretty intense things. And so it's obviously everything's going to probably be more intense, or not always. I'm going to cancel that, but it's the potential for that. But also, I definitely have had those experiences where you start to not feel good, both as a practitioner and as a client. It can happen. And so, but I think just even like knowing that it can happen certainly helps to kind of just, all right, allow it to run through rather than, you know, like attaching to it type thing. So, and I'm not saying this person was, it's just that, as a part of the conversation, understanding that it's not uncommon for not feeling comfortable or well as we're releasing. So, yeah. Okay, so then we have a question that was sent in. Danny, do you want to ask the question?
Yeah, I had a consult call this morning with someone, and she was going to ask it live, but she had to take off.
Yeah.
But it's relevant enough. We get these questions often, so I thought it was a good topic. So she is a Reiki master. She's taken Reiki Stonehenge with William. She's taken Reiki classes with Colleen and Laurel. So she's very well versed in Reiki, but it's been quite some time. So it's been about 6 years since she has used Reiki or got into Reiki as for sessions or teaching. She uses it daily for herself and work and stuff. Anyway, so she was asking, what should I do? Like, what can I do to? She like, do I get another attunement? Do I retake a class? She's taken all of them. Does she join the next step class that we have? Like, what, next step with Reiki classes? Like, what do we do now?
Mhm.
And so we were just discussing the different options and everything. And so I thought that we would talk about the different options. Like, for instance, if she wants to teach Reiki 1 and 2, possibly reviewing a Reiki 1 and 2 class, just to see how that goes, how the class goes, how the agenda goes. Taking Reiki Master again, just for those attunements again, is always great. And then I also think the next step with Reiki obviously is really good, because it's really good for your confidence, trusting your intuition, and reminding yourself of all the tools you already have and learning more. So anyway, we're just going to talk about that, and I wanted to see what you and Colleen had to say.
Well, goodness, I think you answered it pretty perfectly, Danny. I don't know, because I was reading something in the chat. Did you say having a session or having a session where the practitioner gives you an attunement? Just like
I didn't say that, but that's another option, is having a session and getting reattuned. And then I was also saying too, like in Colleen and your classes, you guys offer recordings, like all your class recordings, so you can take those placements and attunements and ignitions over and over and over. So it's a plus as well. But for her, she was like, she wants, she's really feeling to bring Reiki into the world right now, especially. And so she was kind of leaning towards reviewing a Reiki 1 and 2 class, and just remembering, like, for me, I do that. Like, if I'm going to teach a Reiki 1 and 2 class, I like to review a class. I'm like, oh yeah, I really liked the timing of the experiences. I really liked, oh yeah, the Gasho meditation when we come back, or explaining, especially in Reiki 1 and 2, explaining what Reiki is, because a lot of the people have no idea. I mean, they're like, what, distance Reiki? What do you mean? So it's really starting Reiki 101 and remembering that, because sometimes when we know Reiki so well, have been using it for so long, we forget just those, Reiki 101 is what I call it, just those, basic Reiki talks and discussions.
Yeah, I think that is fantastic. And just, listening to what resonates. I think, something is going to, it's like, okay, the first thing is that has happened for her is that it's like called her attention to it, right? Like, oh, okay, which path am I going to follow? So here I'm going to ask these questions and see what is calling me. And then one of them is really going to resonate. And I think that's like, once you take that first step, it's going to kind of unfold your path from there. It's like, we don't need to know the end path, but that it's gonna start to unfold your path from there is what I would say. I don't know if I have much more to add than what you said, Danny.
Okay.
I don't know about Colleen. I'm sure she does.
Well, it's so there's so many choices with that question and it's unique and individual for each person's circumstance where you're at. Reiki will reignite just simply through your invitation. So that is the first thing. It's, to me, even with what Lori said was, that first calling, like Robin just said, that first calling, that is Reiki answering you. Whatever it is that she is already thinking about, already asking about, that is Reiki already activated by saying, hey, Reiki energy can assist you in what you are asking for. So a person can simply invite it to come back regularly. And you can also invite it to come back through engagement with others around it. Something like we have a really good YouTube channel. Some of the other ones like Andrea Kennedy's YouTube channel is really good. And, so many different places like that. There are a lot of different communities that you can participate with that helps bring it back. Even the podcasts, like listening to our podcasts, listening to like the invocations that we do is absolutely activating Reiki. And then everything from reviewing a class, it's very common to review classes. And even if you have taken it, there is always going to be something new that you learn from it. I learn something new even by teaching it all the time after 30 years. I mean, there's always new insights, new understanding of like, oh, that's what that is. So, it's everything from self Reiki, intention, all the way to very specific actions of study, course studies. As far as the next step, a person really would need to join that now because they've missed January, and they can definitely catch up to February, or and then be here for February. So too much longer into the year, we the class is definitely closed until next year in January again. They're year-long classes. But definitely our distance Reiki share. I should bring that up. The distance Reiki share, because the distance Reiki share, we have really moved the format into how to use Reiki to help today in your circumstance. And so we talk about different subjects about how that works. It's, to me, honestly, it's kind of like a little mini class every week. And then we do a journey around those subjects. And most of the time, we're really listening around what is currently going on that people need help with. But knowing, of course, that's unique for everybody, we keep it in that place of like, what is uniquely going on for you and how you personally will use Reiki for your unique circumstances and personal circumstances, and as well, sending peace to the global community and to the earth. So we do all of those things too for the collective. And then the next aspect of the distance Reiki share that we personally find so incredible is the community. as Robin was talking, it seems like a little bit of a theme today, the global community that we have. Every single week, I know I get there and it's just this relief of like, oh, it's so good to be with community and be with each other and know that we are contributing in the best way we can, as a community and connecting from really all around the world on behalf of all around the world.
And I'll just add Lynn's comment of I love retaking classes. I'm doing that this weekend with healthcare Reiki with Pam. The information is great, but the healing and peace is amazing. So,
Yeah.
and I think you're referring to Pam Allen LeBlanc. I would imagine. I think that's the name of that course, right? Is healthcare Reiki.
Yes, healthcare Reiki and Tracy Sullivan.
And Tracy Sullivan. Yeah, we got a little bit of a insight when they gave their presentation at the Sedona Reiki retreat.
Yes.
And it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, maybe?
No, it was last year.
Was it last year? Oh, okay. It was last year.
It just feels like 2 years ago.
Time is wibbly wobbly right now. Anyway, and so we got a little insight and got to kind of feel the energy of it. So I can't wait to take the full class. It's awesome, Lynn. Yeah. Okie dokie. So the other question, or I should say another question is, would love to hear more about the fire horse and what it entails. You can feel a difference already. So just a little bit of what we've been talking about. I mean, obviously not just us, but we mentioned it. So with the year of the fire horse, the Lunar New Year is February 17th, and it is switching from the year of the wood snake to the year of the fire horse. So I think even in just the words, you can feel the difference in the energy. I think a lot of people are feeling the difference in the energy of, and speaking of that purging, Kelly, I was going to add this to that conversation, but I also saw this question come in, so I thought I'd just add it here. You're seeing so much purging right now. It's almost every single session that people are talking about different aspects of purging, so many different areas of life, of physicality, of spiritually. I mean, it's just like everybody's theme right now is some level of finishing that shedding that needed to happen from the year of the wood snake and moving into the acceleration of the fire horse. I agree, Lynn. I am feeling it a lot, not only in my experience of the last of the shedding. I've talked a lot about, my basement and the different aspects that are happening for me right now that was forced shedding. And that acceleration that's coming from the fire horse, maybe even energy that's coming back in, or you can feel it's on the horizon of that acceleration of the fire horse. There's more aspects to this that we'll get into as well, but it's on the 17th. I'm a fire sign, so I'm super comfortable in it. Maybe not everybody is. But I'm super comfortable in it and am appreciating the acceleration that I feel, although it's not quite so tangible just quite yet. At the time of this recording, it is a couple of weeks. By the time we release this, it'll be the following week, so the 17th. The other thing that is happening that is a part of this is big planetary movements. So February is a bit intense. What was I in? I was in a session, we were in class the other day, and we were talking about because at this time, Neptune just moved into Aries from Pisces. Big shift in energy. It's an outer planet, so it takes a long time. We are not astrologers. We just keep up on astrology, mostly for ourselves and our family, and just kind of the energy that we feel, because we definitely feel through our life in general. And it is, it's a big shift. It's been in Pisces for what, 14 years, and it's moving into Aries for 20 years, something like that. I might not have the exact amount of years that we have, right. You'll need to go listen to an astrologer that talks about that. I know, Molly McCord's talked about it. Taylor Norris has talked about it. So astrologers that, it's a science. So definitely go listen to them. So, and so there's that happening. There is the Saturn is moving into Aries on the 20th. Something like that. And then they are conjuncting on the 20th. And so right now we have a little bit of a feeling of like the out breath has happened. So we are at that bottom of the out breath before the in breath is happening. So we are in a little bit, I was talking to Colleen about this the other day, and when a planet goes retrograde, when it goes back direct, sometimes it has this period in between that's called void of course. So it hasn't like moved from either sign to the next. And that's kind of what it feels like right now. Also, Uranus went direct today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday went direct. So it's moving from Taurus into Gemini. So we have a lot of fire, we have a lot of air, we have a lot of things happening as we are even in Aquarius season. That is also a part of this like momentum that is happening. And the podcast that we had with Molly last time, she really talked a lot about this time frame between February and April, because in April, Uranus switches from Taurus to Gemini. And so, right, do I have that correct? I think so. We'll look.
April.
I'll double check.
Uranus, I think it's June, but anyway,
Whatever.
I don't remember exactly.
I'm more worried about the signs than I am
more about what's actually going on.
Yeah. It's more about the energetic aspects that we might all be feeling. So, as far as like the year of the fire horse and how it works for you, and the really in-depth aspects of switching from one to the other, definitely go look from a person that is that does a lot of people in Chinese medicine, a lot of people in feng shui. So go listen to experts in more of that, the Chinese zodiac, because that's what this is. Go listen to experts in that in the same way that you would listen into an astrologer. It's like, yeah, we feel the energy, we know a basic level of it. However, we are not experts in it. So I would definitely recommend more about that, looking more into that if you're interested or feeling more where you want to learn more about it. But the overarching picture is that we have been in this kind of pause, and we are moving into that forward movement. And right now we're feeling that pause at a very deep level, and then the forward movement's going to come in. February 20th is a pretty big day when that conjunction happens. And we're talking about these cycles they're not just long, but they don't happen very often. I mean, hundreds of years. It is why we're feeling it collectively. It's why we're seeing it. It's why we're trying to move towards, growth with it all. We're all feeling it, but the discomfort of it has a lot to do with systems dismantling, whether that's collectively, whether that is personally in your community, things like that are a part of this energy. And then on the bright side, even though we are in this transition stage and it's not going to be necessarily right away, we are moving into a new age, and this is a part of that process, that change in humanity collectively, things like that. So I will say that I'm a little careful or cautious to use this word, because this is used, generally speaking, in a very different context. But astrologically, February 20th, people are referring it to the Great Reset. Like I said, I know in a different landscape, that term is used very differently. But because of the conjunction of these planets, It is moving from a certain energetic aspect to a very different energetic aspect. That's like how big of a conjunction it is in astrology. So again, this is just all my own, like I'm reading about it because I'm feeling it. These are personal knowings. I'm not, the best at astrology. So also take that with a grain of salt and go look up at astrologers to learn more about it.
Well, where we've gone with it here, and like even in the invocation today, the distance Reiki share yesterday, um, is how do we use Reiki energy to stay conscious through it all and be able to listen to ourselves, and how how we are moving through our daily life consciously, and how do we get there when there are big shifts like this? Well, every day, but right now there are big shifts. So what we started feeling and working with these energies really back in even September, October, and then particularly we really brought a lot in December and the distance Reiki share by working with what we call the mouse or eagle mouse vision journeys. And all of that was about preparation, to be prepared for this moment so it doesn't just come in and, be like this huge blast of a change of energy. And so working with your perspectives, we started with that, with working with your perspectives on your own path. So looking behind you, what are you letting go of? Looking around you, what are you letting go of? And then looking forward to what are you going to actually take with you? Because when you look at the path behind you, you have things you're letting go of and you have gifts you're bringing forward. And the same with what's currently going on. And we did that through eagle and mouse vision and inner vision perspective in journeys. And then we've been talking about manifestation, all this through January and now still even February. And we can hear it in all of the journeys that we are doing. So, for instance, yesterday, because of this really big pause that Robin's talking about, where we're in that, that the completions are completing, the endings are ending, the new beginnings are starting, but the completions haven't completed, the new beginnings haven't completely started. And so we're in that place. And what came through with Reiki was simply at this point to use Reiki to stay stable through it all, to allow the ground underneath you to feel stable, to stay in that balance, even what Kelly was talking about with the chakras, working with your own system, the way that that works for you. And then sometimes right now, you may personally be in like a super busy or chaotic place, or you may be in a place that is, quieter or anywhere in between. So not only how, how Reiki does this help you, but the techniques you can use with Reiki to help you stay in that stability. So that's what we're always trying to talk about, like how do we manage it all? And the other thing we did yesterday was stable, moving in that to that stability, but also receiving that energy of kindness and then also creativity. So noticing sometimes the things that, like when these big shifts are happening, it can be hard to like feel like you have any clarity of your movement, because fire horse is movement. It's like the movement is coming, the shedding is completing, the movement is coming, and it's so coinciding with all of these astrological planets that Robin was talking about. So I'm going to just read something out of It's called The Way of the Horse by Kohanov. All of a sudden her name, I've got her book right in my, Linda Kohanov. Anyway, I'm going to hold up a picture for those that are live and can see it or on Facebook. Here's it's like a divination deck, an oracle card. So this one is a picture of what I would think of as the fire horse. I'm just going to read quick quotes about it. She has, whole chapters on it. But that one says, and she's not necessarily naming this fire horse, but to me, I relate. Timing, opportunity, moments infused with meaning and choice. Emerging from a rainbow-colored mist, a powerful horse approaches. Can you grab a hold of his mane and leap onto his back before he moves beyond reach? It happens in a split second. And when you're sensitive to timing, great strides are made with minimal effort. So that's what we've been using Reiki to help with, so we're prepared and we're ready consciously for whatever that next moment is. And then there's this one called Bonfire, and it's another card in the deck, and it says sudden shift, clearing and releasing, fuel for transformation. A rearing fire horse demands attention, drawing power from his blazing herd, whether by choice or circumstance. Tremendous energy is available to burn through any blocks to a wider view. So we see both things happening. Like there's a lot of that, just what you guys were talking about with the purging going on, and then also the endings that are happening, and then that forward motion is going to be coming in, and it's going to be stable. But there's a bump. Like we can feel the bumps. They're here. They're happening. They're global, and they're personal. So that's how we've been working with Reiki specifically. And so then going back to the techniques, sometimes you just need Reiki on the fly. Life is busy. Sometimes you're not in the mood. Like, I don't have it in me to want to be all Zen, and go deep. Like, it's just like, I need to just do whatever. You can do Reiki on the fly, and you can use it simply by inviting it. Let it come in, speak what you need to say to it. Like, just, and truthfully right now, I just go into I receive, and I invite Reiki and say I receive, because truthfully, I can't figure it out. For me right now, it's not figurable. So the receiving allows me to just stay in that stability. And sometimes then I have time for the self Reiki to do the receiving, or have sessions with Robin, sessions with Danny, and receive that way. Other times, I go into my own deep ceremony. So lots of different ways that you can do that. But I want to emphasize that Reiki on the fly. Remember, Reiki on the fly works great. It's just a different experience. It's not that, deep going into Reiki. It is going to bring to you clarity of your own consciousness, insight, intuition, activate your creativity, activate problem solving, activate your resourcefulness. So through all of it, it's helpful to understand the nature of the energies, but really Reiki is going to help you feel it for yourself and what that means for you. And so that's what we've been doing in all of our classes, all of our distance Reiki shares, in our own personal lives. It's what we talk about. We have team meetings, and Danny and Robin and I are brainstorming with Sue and Sarah, and and some others at different times, and it's all the topic of conversations that we're in. How to use Reiki to help. Help.
Oh. All right, fantastic. Well, this isn't like a exactly related question, but a question that if we're talking about new energies coming in, it might be good. It seems like there's still an upgrade coming for Holy Fire. Is there anything that can be shared about that? Colleen, that's all you.
It's all me. Well, we can all feel it. But what it's been sharing with me, with William, is it's just not ready yet. It's listening. One of the things to understand is we always think in terms of what we receive from Reiki, but we also communicate with it. So our intentions, are a communication. And so in my experience of really deep listening around this exact question is it's in such a state of listening to us, the energy, and we just have to wait until it's ready to present itself. And so I honestly can't give you like, oh, it's doing this and this and this and this and this, because I feel like the energy is truly in a state of observation and communication with us, and not just us, but all of us, to listen for what is this, how can this energy help us and train and move into other fields of consciousness that help us manage what is happening in life right now and this great shift that is occurring. So we'll keep you posted. It's not meant to be secretive. It's just truly, it's in such a state of listening. And so we're listening and it's listening, and it's really a state of communication.
Okay. Then let me see. Oh, the way of the horse is the name of the oracle cards Colleen mentioned, and they're by Linda Kohanov, and you can get them on Amazon. She's the author of the Tao of Equus and also many other things that she does. And so anyway, that's the name of it. We'll put it in the chat, but for those of you that are listening, it's the Way of the Horse Oracle deck, and they're amazing. They just nail it all the time. So we've been using those cards for a really long time. Yeah.
We'll put it in our show notes too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have had a tuning fork session before my Reiki session. Had 5 physical releases, which is more than I usually have. Has anybody experienced a tuning fork session? Yes. And they can be intense. So tuning forks all sound healing can be intense, but I would say tuning forks are pretty intense. And also with that, tuning forks can actually find broken bones. So if you've got a broken bone and you do a tuning fork, you'll know you have a broken bone. If you're not sure, you do a tuning fork, you'll know. It's
I
wild.
didn't know that, Robin. Say
Yeah.
more about it.
My friend, Nikki, I don't know much about it, but my friend Nikki, who is a PT, she was talking about it because she thought that she like maybe fractured her ankle, but she didn't want to go in for an x-ray for a variety of reasons, but mostly being, I don't know if she had insurance at the time and, those kinds of things. And so she's like, I'll just try a tuning fork. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, did you know that they could find broken bones? And I was like, no, I had no idea. So, anyways, her ankle was fractured. It's painful. And they can find if you have a broken bone. Wild, right?
I do have to add a disclaimer though.
Oh,
Get an x-ray.
I'm
I know it
sorry.
goes without saying, but
No, yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
Go to a
yeah.
doctor.
Yeah. If you think you have a broken bone,
Go to a doctor. Yeah.
should I do the true confessions of your childhood? as a mother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't care.
Okay, so you know how we deal with mom guilt. So Robin was a wild kid. She, I mean, she really was. And yeah, she was, as we say about her daughter, full of chi. And so anyway, she was always doing stuff. She was always getting hurt. She was just, you know, just one of those. She had very little impulse control. So knowing her now would be surprising. But anyway, so as a mom, it'd be like, okay, what's she up to now? Well, one day she came in and she'd, you know, fallen on a thing in the church across the street and came in and, you know, crying about her arm. And I was like, you're fine. And of course, I held her and comforted her, but just like, you're fine. And the next day she picked up her arm and the bottom half of it fell straight down. And I was like, oh, I am such a terrible mother. And of course, it was really broken. I know others have had that experience, so I'm not alone, but it is the true confessions of mom guilt.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, if only you had a tuning fork, you would have known.
There you go.
Uh, too funny. Yeah, they can be intense for sure, Marilyn. So, just so you know, I'm sure that there can be a lot of people that can talk about their experiences of them, and they're an entire modality. So, I mean, you can certainly get really trained in it. People are experts in it, amazing practitioners. Some incorporate them into other parts of their practices. I was like, combining it with a Reiki session and things like that. Um, so, yeah. So anyways, but you're right, Colleen. Go to the doctor first.
Well,
Uh,
or second.
or is that, well, Nikki is very trained in,
She's highly skilled.
she's very highly skilled.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I, she's doing her own thing over here, which is good. She's very highly skilled, very highly trained. So not in tuning forks, but like in, medical stuff. So, it was, but it
Her
was
scope
interesting.
of practice is different than mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see here.
Can we
Then,
answer Lynn real quick? She said, can we learn that with Next Step
oh,
Reiki?
yeah, go for it.
I don't know, Lynn, if
I
you
think
can just,
tuning forks is what we were
oh,
talking
tuning
about.
forks.
No,
Oh, okay.
we don't teach about it. So we don't know enough about it.
Could be on the list, but it
Maybe
hasn't risen to the top yet.
we have to be trained in it first.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I want to ask one more question before we, and Meg, I know you have a question I haven't forgot. But we're gonna go to one more question that I wanted to answer that was sent in. Oh my goodness, where is it now?
Andre, thank you. He said, no, I am not a bad mom. Parenthood is tough.
It really is. Well, on the other aspect of that, Colleen, I've wondered in some cases if Luna had a broken thing and then I got an x-ray and it wasn't broken, and I think, oh man, now I'm a bad mom for exposing her to x-rays. So there you go.
I will tell you while you're going to the next question. So I was working with a client and who really was struggling with mom guilt and kind of the same thing. Like yes, there are reasons for mom guilt, and then there are just, common mom guilt. And anyway, Mother Mary actually came into it, and it was really, really deep. She said, I know all about mom guilt. She said Jesus was a really tough kid. So,
I don't know though. You said the other day we were talking that you never really have mom guilt.
I don't really have it in the
And I
big
was like, how
picture.
is that possible? I'm
Yeah.
constantly feeling mom guilt.
Well, probably the difference is I can say that now in
Mm.
retrospect than when I was in it in some of those instances.
Okay.
But most of the time, truly, I was like, yeah, I'm a great mom. So just
I love
saying.
the confidence. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, going through life, I mean, it's so interesting watching the different generations and what that all is in the different ways of parenting.
Well, and I guess and I mean it's even more true, I know, in your generation, but I guess in my generation it was like, you know, well, in the scheme of parents, yeah, probably. But you know what I mean? But like now we have the internet to compare our momness to every single other mom out there, or I should say parent, every single other parent out there. And so yeah, I'm definitely, it's like those videos that you see of like, you know, the people that are trying to eat something and it's like, well, you can't eat this because of, you know, all of the different things that are wrong with like the food system today and the water systems today and stuff like that. And so it's like, and it's like it's, you know what I'm talking about, like where it's like narrating over like why you can't eat this, why you can't eat this, why you can't, you know, why everything is unhealthy, right?
Right.
And it's like that's kind of like what it is with parenting today as well. Like, oh, if I do it this way, well, it's like the x-ray example, right? It's like, well, I'm going to take her to the x-ray, but then like, oh, but I'm also exposing her to more radiation than she probably needs, you know? It's like every single thing.
Well,
Like
and
I
that's
could
true.
have a narration in my head about why I'm doing it wrong. You know?
Yeah, we didn't have all the information.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of collective. So, okay, I'm going to tell one more. So
Okay.
it was still normal to wash their kid's mouth out with soap.
Mm.
And, as a parent in this generation, and I think Robin was like 10 when I did, and it was public. So now you would never do that to Luna, but,
She literally doesn't, I told her about that, and she literally couldn't even grasp the concept of
yeah,
it. Like couldn't even think about that as a like, wait, what?
a realm of possibility in
The
her life.
realm of possibilities. And that kid, I will say, lives in a lot of her own inner authority. So she's like not getting in trouble for a
Yeah.
lot.
There were so many things that were, like you just did.
Yeah, I know.
Medications with alcohol.
Oh
Whew.
yeah. Well,
That
not for
was
kid, not
that
for
was a
kids.
rough one to get rid of because boy,
For
when they were
so,
sick, you just put them to sleep until they're over.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where the, NyQuils that put them to sleep for sleep it off. That was
Heather, that's
the
actually
best.
she put in the chat, have her watch A Christmas Story. And that's actually what brought it up is we were watching that this Christmas is with A Christmas Story. That's exactly what brought it up. So that's so funny that you said that because I was like, this is and mine was a little bit different, but that was what brought the whole conversation up. I'm like, I've had that happen to me. She's like, what? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's go into questions. We've got just a
Okay.
little bit more time. So, this question is, can Reiki help me understand why something isn't manifesting yet? We've been doing a lot of talk on manifestation this month. And so this is probably in relation to that, a question that came through. Can Reiki help me understand why something isn't manifesting yet? And I will say that, I mean, short answer, yes, absolutely. Because we have all sorts of things happen. And a lot of times we understand them in retrospect. There can be times where something doesn't manifest. And that's the whole point. It's like it was for our higher good that it doesn't manifest something that we wanted. And we look back and we think, we look back in like kind of gratitude for whatever reason that it didn't. But in the moment, it can be challenging. But both times, you can absolutely go into your spiritual questioning in whatever way you do that and ask, like, why is this not manifesting yet? Because I think we were talking about this yesterday in like a meeting, and we just were talking about the level of pressure that this topic can bring in about having to like hold that vision 100% of the time. And so we can go into this a little bit of like maybe self punishment or I don't, that's a little bit of an extreme word, but like, oh, because I dropped the thought of it to a different, or I thought, had dropped my vibration or all of these things. It's like this pressure to be at that place 100% of the time. And that can just be hard for us. And so if that happens, it's like this all or nothing mindset. Like, oh, does that mean that I don't deserve it because I didn't hold it that vision 100% of the time? And I think that's another piece of this process of kind of like going into it with maybe a little bit more grace for ourselves. And it's like, one of those like long-term ideas and aspects of kind of continuing to come back to your dreams around it. Your manifest, the things that you were hoping to manifest in your life. And sometimes it just takes a little longer. Like timelines in the ether are definitely different than our um, timelines on the planet. So that's another thing, is that timelines can be a tricky thing for sure. So, but going into the energy absolutely can help with this understanding of it.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a lot to add to that. Sometimes it's patience, timing, life circumstances. Like Robin said, sometimes something else is going to happen instead. There's so many variables. In fact, it's, one of the things that we'll be talking about in the distance Reiki share. One of them we talked about yesterday when we were talking about the distance Reiki share in this topic was about letting go of old beliefs that can be around it too, and how deep our beliefs can go that we may be aware of or really completely unaware of. I've had some come in even recently that were like I didn't know were even there. And through the process of letting Reiki come through and help heal some of those beliefs, some of the maybe even resistances I have or fear around it. Um, Sometimes it's because it's really not my path, and that happens too. And um, it may appear as if we have this all figured out and that doesn't happen, but there are a lot of things that I have thought I've wanted to manifest, planned to manifest, and it either takes years longer to do than I expected, or it shows up in a completely different way, or not at all. And it's because the what I was saying underneath all of it was different than what I was saying on top of it. And so there were things that were guiding me. I can say a really easy example back, using Reiki because I received Reiki when my horse went lame, and for him and because of him and him telling me he went lame to deliver me to my power to heal, I was absolutely certain that I would be learning and teaching more about animal Reiki and that I would be completely focused on animals. And at that time, it never occurred to me that I could work on people because my empathy was too strong. And so when I received Reiki, I just was on I thought, a very compelled path to manifest Reiki for animals. So that was in 2000, and we finally wrote the Animal Reiki Manual starting in 2015, published it in 2020. So Reiki took me on a completely different direction. It did tell me, I shouldn't say it, my horse did say I needed to work on people. So I started working on people, but I never understood it until retrospect. It was years later that I could go, oh, that's why it guided me that way, even though what I thought I was going to manifest was turned out very different than. Um, but because I had an inner intention that I didn't realize would guide me in this path. And that inner intention for Reiki was that I would help Reiki become so mainstream that children would grow up with it as part of a natural type of healthcare, and also that children could grow up and decide to be a Reiki practitioner, and that it could actually support them financially and their family. Like it could be a career path that was possible for them. So it all unfolded very differently than what I thought I was attempting to accomplish. And that's just one example. So it took 15 years to start the project. I mean, I still did Reiki with animals just on a personal level and did it with my friends at horse shows and things like that. But I'm talking about, like a full animal Reiki practice. So we didn't complete that until 2020. And now I know for a lot of different reasons. I think we should look at what is going on in the chat.
I was just going to say that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to add because about the tuning fork conversation. So, Julie said I use tuning forks for grounding, centering, grief, sleep, tinnitus, and other issues. I was trained by a wonderful group, meditateyou.me. Mostly for the forks actually calm me. I infuse them with Reiki first. Yeah, I guess I should have added that to the conversation, that they are also used for all of those things, super calming also. They also can be intense, as is any spiritual stuff. And then she said she took a 2-day class from them on vibrational healing and 2-day sound healing courses. Wonderful. And combined the 2 classes with Reiki for clients with them and reporting great responses. And then there's other just people are asking very specific questions, so I'm not going to read those. But I just wanted to add that as a part of the conversation.
And Julie said that again, to just bring that back, that she studied with meditateyou.me. Thanks, Julie. Thanks for answering all those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think then, Meg, thank you so much for your patience. We'll go ahead and go to your questions.
Well, I have something to say. I've been telling a lot of people about Reiki in recovery groups, and I feel like I now I can hear my heartbeat, and I feel like I'm like in the program we have a psychic change. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but this Reiki has really, like, I feel like I'm becoming a different person, and I feel like I was asleep. Like, I'm 63 years old. I feel like I was asleep for most of my life from the time I was abused until now. I also want to ask you, I've heard your thing about you there was a thing you did about releasing spirits and entities and stuff. Um and that really helped, and after I heard that, I've been dreaming about people that passed on and stuff. But I was wondering if you could do a CD on that, and if you could, um, I know a lot of people that really don't have the time to learn Reiki and all that jazz. I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that, but like that CD. If you were to do a CD, I would give it to my brother and my other brother, because I believe that would work. And I feel like I do Reiki every day, and the more I do it, like the more I'm in the present moment. And like today I was presently in the store, and I can tell you, always do Reiki before you walk in the store. You'll get great deals, okay? um I always do that, especially in a thrift shop or something. And so um I'm just curious. Have you ever heard anyone just waking up and then, like I'm so much into time right now. Like right now, it's 1:58 here, and I'm into time, like how I handle my time. And Reiki helps me with that because I use Reiki for everything, going to the store, doing my dishes, and all that. And the more I do that, the more awake I feel. It's just really weird. I don't know if you ever heard of that, and if you could do a CD. Um, and I believe for me, because I know a lot of people in recovery. I read a lot of books about spirits and stuff, and I can tell you all the books I've read. When people are drunk or are passed out, energies can go into them really quicker, and when they release those energies, then they get themselves, and that would be easier for recovery people. I believe,
Yeah.
I believe, because I believe this. I've seen a lot of people relapse, right? And when I did one of your Reiki shares, okay, we were doing the red chakra, the first chakra, and I realized all those people that are on the street and everything, I believed I saw their first chakra like miles away from them. And so I realized the more I did the chakras, and I realized that drugs and alcohol is an energy, and it you have to cut the cord of that energy in order to stay sober long term. I don't know if you understand that or not. But I found
Sure.
that out.
So Meg, I want to share with you that William actually has a CD on his website, reiki.org, called Spiritual Protection and Healing. If you're talking about like a specific round CD that you play in a CD player. Um, and thank you for sharing that because, yes, it is certainly, one of those areas where people that specialize in, addiction or houselessness or any of those, um, there can be some very dramatic both reasons and results for it that Reiki can help with. And I do know there are, a lot of people who work in those with, those populations of people to try to help with it. So yes, you can go to the Reiki.org website, and even though that particular CD is very old, I think it's still very relevant for what you're talking about too. And then if people are streaming, I would say, you can guide them to our YouTube channel or our podcast channel, particularly where we do the journeys that maybe they would do too. And I know they may not be specific to them and their situation, but it does get the Reiki flowing, and they don't have to have Reiki to be able to go into or to be able to listen to those and benefit from them.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry it was a heavy question. I didn't mean to.
Oh,
But see, I see Reiki in my recovery as like a blessing. I've been a relapser, and I have not relapsed. I have not. I say you can have a party in your head and you're not invited. And, like this Reiki with my program people, like that's what's in my head. And it also helps me to be in today. And I'm really grateful. Like the more I do it, the more I see the benefits. It's like unbelievable. And I do have that protection. I have all his CDs.
uh,
That's all I have.
yeah. Well, Meg, it was not too heavy of a question or a comment, and we appreciate it because it is a very real part of what Reiki can help with. And we have you have been part of our community for a long time and have shared how much it has helped you and who you are today because of it. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, absolutely. We do have one more. Andre says he has a quick question. So yes, Andre, we will go ahead and answer a quick question. Go ahead.
Hello, good to see you. Quick question. I'm just wondering because, and I guess I know the answer, but like I have a local Holy Fire Reiki teacher here in Calgary, and her energy feels completely different from the energies that I feel when I'm joining the group here. And I wouldn't say that it's like bad different or good different. It is just feels different to me. And well, no, actually, I would say that whenever I join here, I always feel like much calmer after it. And like I feel like I'm lighter on my ego portion, let's put it this way, and I like more balanced, maybe in a way. With her, I feel a lots of energy, but it's more like uncontrolled in a way that I can like put it into my, I don't know, desires or some kind of like not best outcome situations for me. Let's put it this way. I have lots of energy, but it's not going in the right way for me, or at least it feels like this. I'm just super curious, like, what do you think about that?
Um, well, I think there's always resonance and coherence in any kind, anytime you're in community with anybody for any reason. When you're working with different energies and energy systems or people working with energies, there definitely can be a difference with that. And even with Reiki. So Reiki flows through in resonance with different people for different reasons. Like somebody else may, love that energy and not love ours as much. So it's a resonance type of a thing. Probably out of anything, what I do when I know, because I do work in a lot of different, or I am engaged with a lot of different um, kinds of energy work and ceremonies and people and Reiki people that do different things. So even though I may not be bringing Reiki in for the group or for that particular situation, I always put my own Reiki around me and take care of my own energy. So, for instance, that's where I invite the Reiki energies, and you can imagine if I'm drawing it in front of me and on the walls above me, below me, within me. And I place the Reiki symbols around myself so that I have my own filter and my own space to be in my energy. And I feel like that energy regulates. In fact, it's been calling itself like a frequency regulator, where it's allowing me to be in my coherence and my frequencies and where I'm at. And then I can also engage with others, and the energy around me acts like a filter so that there's the way it shows me, and this is, my intuition is always metaphorical. So it shows me like an actual regulation. So if my energy is in one place, maybe theirs is even higher and it's still going to regulate between us, or maybe theirs is lower and it's going to regulate where I can stay the same. Or if it is higher, I can choose to entrain higher to those frequencies. But I have absolutely been in many different communities that were very different from how I feel the energy here kind of flows through and with us. And so it's probably more a resonance. And then I also find that I'm not resonant with everybody, and then I choose not to engage in those circumstances. But I also don't want to limit myself because of that. So I definitely use the tools of placing Reiki. And when I say draw Reiki around me, I don't sometimes I'm not drawing it specifically, sometimes I'm thinking it to be around me, or I'm using my breath to put it around me, or I beam it to go around me. Back to that idea of Reiki on the fly, or even send Reiki ahead of yourself when you are in those engagements. But I think it's a really important question. The bottom line of it is whenever you are working within somebody else's energy, like guidance, like, they're facilitating the energy coming through, you still take care of your own. And I think that's a really important piece to know with all of it. And then as you go through, the Reiki energy has such great discernment part of it that it can help you understand, well, is this just something that we have a, I need my filter around, or the differences, or is this something now that, yeah, it's just not quite a match for me? And you get to pick that and you get to discern that. Um, but I'm with a lot of different circumstances of like, okay, this is a very different way that they're working with the energy than how we do. And then for a lot of people, I can tell you, we are probably very flexible. I don't know how to say the word, but we really try to be as low pressure about it all as possible. And then I'm going to say it. We're also really highly skilled. We've been doing this a long time and through lots of training and lots of skill development, and we really focus on the energy that we're working with, that we are out of the way, letting the energy come in and do the work. That doesn't mean the other person isn't doing that. It just means, there can be a resonance with either.
No, I was just curious because like I always thought that like I've tried different meditation styles and different practices and Qigong and whatnot, and like yes, everybody feels a little bit different how they work, but like I thought that the holy fire will be the same no matter from who, but it doesn't feel this way.
Yeah, I think you're right that there's still filters that happen. I remember Jan teaching that, Jan Inglesmith, in some of our early shamanic training. She said, you know what, nobody's filter free with all of this. And that always stuck with me that, you can
Oh.
hear the different filters. And so I will take it one step further. And again, not talking about this specific person, but since we're on the subject, where I learned my own discernment was the back to the teaching that all thoughts lead to two places, one of two places. They lead to either love or they lead to fear. And at the time that I learned that, and that became my discernment practice of how I engaged with people that particularly that I was going to be doing this kind of work with, is that God is love. Anything not of love is not of God. So that was, kind of my mantra that I would use. And I would listen for the words coming through. Did the words have fear? And not that we don't all have some of that. We can all have some, but I'm talking about like an overall, presentation of how they think about things. And so I knew when I would listen to anybody that I was engaging in these ways by the way they spoke, if they were resonant with me, because I needed that energy of love to be the dominant message, the dominant energy that was coming through. And so that has always been how we have tried through all our humanness, to really let the energy come in and guide us in those directions. So that comes through all our messaging too. So again, maybe not specifically in your example. I'm not placing this on the other person, but just it was a really helpful discernment guidance process for me in determining even friends, like who do I want to hang out with? Um, I want to hang out with people that have a, more loving attitude in life. So, yeah, thanks. That's a great question, Andre. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for this community and for you. Thank you.
We're grateful for you too. Thank you. I thought you lived in Europe. I didn't know you were in Canada.
Yeah, I'm in Calgary, so not that far from you, I guess.
Yeah,
Couple
yeah. I
hours
don't
of
know
flight.
why I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we'll finish up, Robin.
Yep, I think that's good. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all so much. As always, we love these conversations, and thank you all for being here with us and this community, this global community of kindness.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Random acts
all.
of kindness.
You
Yep.
all. Thank
Oh, I
you.
love it so
Blessings.
much.
Blessings to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
We open the circle for us all.
yep,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
Yes.